Sunday night. And I said, oh, man, I'm going to have to see certain people here that don't really want to see me. I didn't really want to see them either. Like, there's no love lost between me and Miss Morgan.
Right.
Well, I'm like crappy. Like, I am mad. Like, one I was like, is this Luann's party? And then as I was coming in, I'm like, I mean, I'm sure Sonya's, she was there.
Was she nice to you?
Listen, I can respect, Ramona was there in the corner kissing up to Michael Lorber.
Of course.
Right. You know how Ramona is.
Right.
You know, I respect Sonia in the sense that, like, we really avoided each other, which is fine. The food game was on, the drinks. It was someplace in Columbus Circle in the Time Warner Center, a place I've never been before. I forgot the name of it. If I heard it, I would know. But so, like, you know, okay, like, Sonia avoided me. You know, there's probably no love lost between me and Dorinda. I don't really think we have a thing. We've had our moments, but standing face to Dorinda, I was like, hello, how are you? Good to see you. I was like, good to see you too. You look great. We walked, you know, like, I'm okay with that, right? Ramona, I'm just like, God, keep me away from her. The night that you were seated next to her.
Right. We always end up seated next to one another. I think that
I think people
maitre d' does it on
purpose.
purpose. Yeah.
Like, not just there at Tudo, at other places.
We will always end up somehow next to one another.
That night when she walked in, she was in her mood to be like, oh, I'm with all my gays. You know how, like, she gets, like, so... Sam, who works there, is like, as we were walking by, made a joke, and he's like, now, David, like, please, we're not interviewing anyone tonight. No questions for Ramona. And she, like, reached out and, like, squeezed my head. Like, I'm like, is this woman being somewhat nice to me? Like, what? I also am like, does she not realize it's me? Like, I'm not sure what's going on, but she was, for a moment, nice to me.
She was
which
nice.
doesn't mean I don't have Stockholm Syndrome. This isn't like, yay, Ramona was nice. I was just like, I'm so confused right now.
Right.
But that night I avoided her. She was kissing up to Michael Lorber. So, yeah, Luann and I, no, we don't go to date. You know, Luann is just... But I am, like, so okay with that. Like, it's almost, now she's, her house, like, you know, she's on tour again. Her team, that night, she was like, I'm going to have to come on. I'm like, great. Her team, I was like, for 3 weeks, like, God, I have to reach out to her team. Reached out to me yesterday. I was like, I was going to just, so that to me is the perfect situation.
Right.
Like, I'm busy. We don't need to call. When I saw her at Jill's party, ran over to me, darling, you know. So, like, right? Like, what more does one want? Her team reached out, if you have time. Luann would love to come. I'm like, of course I have time. Let's make time. So it's like, that is how it should be. It's almost like that's how I want it with a lot of these people, these housewives.
Right.
Like, you and I just became friends. It was organic. Like,
it
truly.
was organic, yeah.
Do you know who I'm also friends with is Bronwyn from the OC?
Right.
I've become... Organic. I
interacted with her a few times.
Wasn't, like, such a cheerleader of her. She came on the podcast in person. We kept in touch, and it's like a real, like, to me, a friendship is like if you could just text someone at any time and like all day, you know, like there's days where I text Anna all day. I'm trying to think who else. Well,
you taught me how to use Instagram.
I did. You've come a long way.
I was an Instagram virgin.
I keep forgetting that. Those are like, I mean, I think, are those the main, I feel like there's more, but those are the main ones-ish. Trying to think, is there anyone from the OC?
What about from the other shows?
I'm trying to think, like, Bronwyn's from the OC.
Right.
Who from, like, really Kim Granatel from New Jersey? That's pretty much it. Like, regular. Who's, like, Atlanta? Nobody.
I ran into
Potomac,
Tinsley last week.
Really? Where?
Yes, with her mom. We were having
were you
lunch
in New York
on the
City?
Upper East Side. Yes.
Ah,
and
she was in New York for a minute.
I was seated, like, one table away from her, so I went over and said hi to them. And I have to tell you, that woman is like Benjamin Button. She is aging
She's
backwards.
Gorgeous.
If you would have told me that she was a senior in college, I would believe it.
It looks natural.
So natural, so beautiful, and she looks very, very happy.
She's in Florida, I think, full-time, more or less. That's what I understand.
I thought she was in
West Palm?
Atlanta, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
But she's one where it's like, I think she's like, I love when someone's away from Housewives and they're like, no, really, it's not my goal to go back.
Right.
I love that. I believe Tinsley really is like, no, I'm fine.
Yeah. I mean, she looked happier than I have ever seen her look.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Dale, she has a boyfriend?
Was with Dale. Dale was very charming.
Dale almost came on this podcast. It was the season after Tinsley and Dorinda.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when Dorinda just went psychotic on Tinsley and then lost her job and went on pause. So, and Dale and I were texting and it was really going to happen. We don't need to get into what Dale said about Dorinda. But then Dale said, you know, it's because after the reunion, it was wrapped up in a bow. Tinsley kind of looked good and nothing against Dorinda. And Dale was like, you know, it's kind of wrapped up. Like Tinsley looks good. It's like, it's over. I think anything I say on the podcast is just, and I said, you know, she's an older woman too. Right. I said, Dale, yes. Anything you say on this podcast will be all over. Right. It will open up a complete can of worms, and I really can't. See how nice I am?
You are nice,
I'm like,
yes.
I want you on this podcast, but everything you just said about what's going to happen if you come on is 100% what will happen. It will be on page 6, wherever else, and whatever you say about Dorinda will be blown up, and the can of worms that you think is closed now for your daughter will be opened.
Right. Although she is a mom, and I'm sure that it was so tempting to want to protect her baby.
Her text said a lot to me. Yeah. They were very explicit on a lot of things.
But yeah, very elegant woman. It was.
Yeah, and I was like, I
enjoyed meeting her.
I can't do this to you. Like, just don't come on as much as I want you to come on.
Yeah.
See how nice I am?
You are so nice, David. You're so misunderstood.
Those are the main housewives that I feel like there's more.
So tell me something about yourself that I didn't ask.
Oh, man. I mean, you asked about my sex life. You asked about, like,
graphically.
Housewives. You asked about past breakups. What? You know.
There must be something. Tell me something.
What did you not ask me? You know, I think, I don't know, is this not really, maybe this would seem obvious to you. You know, like, I am more of a homebody than people think. Is that obvious, I guess? Maybe that's obvious.
That's not a big secret. Tell me something juicy.
What's a secret? What is a secret about me? I mean, I haven't really committed any crimes.
Really?
No, I mean, listen, everyone's been arrested before, right?
I haven't.
You haven't?
Have you been arrested?
You know what? It's really weird because, you know, and now I don't know.
What?
Okay, here's the thing. Oh, and by the way, so you asked about the lawyer before. Like, I was a real, people are always like, oh, you're not a real lawyer. By the way, I was suspended from the bar because if you don't pay it's just the same thing that Ebony went through. If you are a lawyer, you have to pay dues every year to be in good standing. So when you don't practice, you're like, you just vanish. And then one day you're like, well, I mean, what is this? Like, what do you mean I've been suspended? I'm like, no one told me I had to pay. There is a way to check off inactive lawyer, but in good standing with the bar. So to get back in, you just have to pay a bunch of money. Now I did that. And then I got reinstated. And then years later, they're like, you're suspended. And I'm like, oh, because the same thing happened. Like right now, I'm probably on, like, you just forget. You're like, life gets busy.
Tell me about when you were arrested.
So I was arrested, but I don't know if I was really arrested. Here's the thing. I really don't. I was calling a lawyer from the thing, and the lawyer was like, I don't understand. Like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm at the police station. And so the lawyer was like, you have your phone? Like, you're just calling me? So he's like, I don't know if you're real. So I really don't know if I was arrested. But there was someone, I wasn't even dating them. We just had like a moment in time.
Right.
We had a hookup. And then we had like a big fight afterwards. None of this is important. And then there was a phone call that he made to me where I was like, I think this